Massachusetts, though, is very clear that you can only use the native language to clarify and read directions, but you should not be teaching in the native language at all. And so, yeah, there's a huge philosophical debate about that. And I have concerns about how Massachusetts does it, because I think if you look at every child individually, it may be the right approach to use the native language to help them then the research is pretty clear. If you have command of one language, it's much easier to transition into a second language. It's pretty clear, and we'd be limiting a child who is that proficient in their native language by not allowing them to transition effectively to English. So I could go on and on about this. This is
okay.
But I certainly believe that it will become a debate in the future years. I don't know if you want to add to that.
No, I agree with you completely. So,
Thank you.
yeah, it is tough though right now because it's the legislation that's
Yeah.
holding
Right,
back
right.
the types of instruction that should be occurring for children. So,
I see Mr. Kenny shaking his head on that.
Yes.
It's really, and I don't want to take too much time on this, just because frankly we don't have a choice in the ELL mandate. First of all, thank you, Mrs. Milligan, for really, it's a very coherent presentation, and it helps me a lot to understand how this actually works. But the conversation generally surrounds mandates, and especially in the context of budget season, where we're forced to have difficult conversations, even with an aggressive ask. And we're forced to make difficult decisions about prioritizing certain things over others because we simply don't have the funding to do it all. And we're not afforded that opportunity to include this in the conversation because the state or federal government says, you have to do this because we say so, and by the way, you have to pay for it, Wakefield. That frustrates me, sincerely, and it probably comes as no surprise to anyone that that's the case. I think that I would love to have Dr. Reich make those decisions on his own without, and trust educators to make those decisions on their own. And if you remember when we hired the ELL earlier, months ago now, the extra ELL teacher, I asked Dr. Reich, I said, is absent of the existence of the mandate, is this something that you think benefits Wakefield schools? And he said, yes, absolutely. I said, great. And this is the same case here, and I think it's a great idea to reallocate our resources to make it more efficient. But I just wish that we could include this conversation on the same level that we include everything else that we talk about in education at the local level, because they're all difficult conversations. And I wish that we could consider this on the same level instead of having our hands tied. But thank you for your presentation, and I will support the motion for sure.